28 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wolf 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Please subscribe.
1-0 loss to Leicester. We start with unchanged from the team.
Hello, Sam and Jack.
Who are we? What? Scotch Mist.
You said hello to
I'm sorry. I was thinking, what do I do next? What do I do next? Sorry.
Just start again.
No. Let him bugger himself.
to Dan Bayliss.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's looking more like Dick Dastardly every week with your Movember.
I've also got to say thank you. Chris Jennings sits in front of us, takes his top off, shouts very loudly with his cousin, and Swedish Wolves fan, whose name's completely
David Mould. Yeah, he told me.
David.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, guys. Very much appreciated. I will share the link again. Anyone else that wants to donate, it is very much appreciated. I'm going to a very good cause, and I look like a knob.
That was a thank you for Chris for taking his shirt off, or for donating. Which way around was that?
Both.
Donate. Jack Williams is here. Jack hasn't been here for about 9 million episodes. Where have you been?
No, I just had to serve my 5-podcast suspension, and now I'm back and ready to go. That's it.
Tune in next week to find out what he did. Of course, no surprise where we're going to start now, as I've already said. 1-0 loss to Leicester following the win against Crystal Palace. No room for Adama Traore in that starting lineup. Harry, unchanged.
Yeah, we predicted that, didn't we, last week? Well, kind of. I did think he'd take Aït-Nouri out, and I wish he did, because he was shocking. No change. So I was expecting the same as Palace. I thought we were going to fly out the blocks, go at them, take it to them, get a few early goals, and be loving life. But we went straight back to the way we have been for most of the season. Very boring, with an expected goal thing on that XG page of 0.01. And it was the worst half of football I've ever seen in my life. Back to reality.
We were going for the title last week, Dan. What's changed?
I thought we actually were better in the first half than we have been in other games, but still, we've still got a massive problem down both wings. We play with wing backs with Aït-Nouri's young and had a very bad game, and Semedo is apparently a world-class player and isn't.
He had a great game, Semedo.
No, he didn't, because he created fuck all.
Defensively,
you can't have a great game and be a world-class Barcelona player.
Right, you moaned about him being bad defensively.
Brilliant.
He was brilliant defensively. And he did
Harry,
a few
what
things
fucking good is it being
half.
defensively fantastic and losing 1-0?
I can't take you seriously with that moustache going, madam.
All well and good being great at the back, but if you're a wing back to create chances and have got no impetus,
how can you target out Semedo and Aït-Nouri give away a penalty and was shocking? Why are you targeting Semedo?
Said he was bad.
Literally, you've got an agenda against a bloke. Get over it. It's boring.
They're two very different people. With a young lad that's coming into the squad, you expect issues, and he's not going to be perfect. And he wasn't, and he had a bad game.
He was probably our best player, Semedo, I thought.
No, I thought Neves was, the way he got back and controlled the game.
Neves passed side to side more times than a Renault Express, man. He had one shot second half, and that's about it.
Interestingly, Patricio came out on top for the average ratings on the BBC. Obviously, the penalty save in there, but Jack, the first one, the penalty, it goes to VAR. We're all looking at it going, you can't give that. He's hitting at him about 900 miles an hour. And it's one of those where you just dumbfounded when it happens to other teams, and Twitter goes mental for it. And this time, again, at Leicester, we're on the end of a wrong handball decision.
Yeah, I know I've had 5 odd weeks off, but I'm still sick of talking about VAR already. But it's one of those where as soon as you watch that back in slow motion, you thought, that's going to be a penalty. I immediately turned and said, they'll give that, 100% they'll give that, definitely. And then to see how they viewed it on the monitor, and they obviously just slowed it down straight away, his arms away from his body. And it's this thing we said all along, that if you slow anything down enough, it can make it look a lot worse than it actually was. And he absolutely pelted that ball at him in real time. And I just felt sorry for Kilman, really, because again, he was pretty solid, to be fair. So it's nothing against his performance, and it wasn't one of those where he's made a silly tackle like Aït-Nouri went on to do, and like Saïss did against Man City. It's just one of those things that's just really unfortunate, and you knew that as soon as you saw the replays, you knew it was going to happen. I don't want to get too caught up on the penalty decision, because I still don't think we did enough really to get anything from the game. I was disappointed with the amount of chances we created, and I think in a game like that, you've got to look at the going forward. Probably the front three, really. We didn't create enough, did we? And I know Neves had that one shot, and Neto had that one that was straight at the keeper. But apart from that, even when we were chasing the game, we didn't really create Leicester too many problems, and that's more of an issue for me than losing out on a stupid VAR call for one penalty.
But Jack, you say it comes from the front three. It doesn't. When you play with wing backs, the front three have to play with the wing backs to create scoring chances. That's how our system of football works. That's how we scored tons of goals last season. It isn't working. I'm right. I am so right.
I bring Harry in on that.
You've enlightened me. It was Semedo's fault we lost.
It worked pretty fine against Palace. We just set up really negatively this game. That's why nobody worked going forward today, especially first half. It took us to the 75th minute to do anything. Adama came on and had a go, but they dealt with him quite well. Just you can't really target the wing backs. Was Raul even on the pitch? I can't even remember him doing anything. So
Harry, I said it last week. I said, all well and good. Palace sat narrow. Let us play with the ball. We got round the back with the wing backs who linked up with the three forwards. We scored some goals. Magic. Come up against a difficult team like Leicester, who are good. They're in our mix, slightly better than us. They're in that top 6, top 10. They're a good footballing side.
Are they not a bit higher than that? Are they title challengers rather than top 6? I don't know if they'd be happy with it.
They're better than top 10.
I think we made them look good, Leicester. They had a lot of the ball. They weren't amazing, was they? Let's be honest. I think we set up wrong tactically. Why Nuno didn't just go for it, I think it's because we showed them too much respect. We're away from home. We sat back, which we like to do a lot. We should have just gone for it. Like we didn't. We just showed them way too much respect.
We haven't got the class to. We haven't got the quality to do it, Harry.
We have.
We haven't got the ability to play our style of football at the moment. We just haven't. We haven't done it. We did it in one game against Palace and Sheffield United. And if those two aren't in the
so we have got the quality to do it, then you agree,
gobsmacked. Yeah, all well and good against the crap.
So you just said we ain't got it at all, but we have shown it. So
not against the top teams, not against the teams that we've got to compete with to finish in that 5th, 6th, 7th spot. We haven't got it.
Jack, I'll bring you in on that. Obviously, you've been away for a couple of weeks, and to be fair, he's stuck to his guns so far.
Bayliss and just blaming the wing backs for that performance and losing 1-0. I don't buy that because I think defensively we did quite well. Leicester are a good team. They've scored lots of goals. They've got a great attacking threat. So it's not a terrible defeat, but I just wish we created more. And then I know you're saying obviously the way we play, a lot of that creativity does have to come through the wing backs. But then you say, our star man centre forward was just nowhere to be seen throughout the whole show. And granted, that's because we set up wrong. I think that when I saw the team selection, I was happy because I thought after the Palace display that everybody deserved to keep their place. Looking back, though, I think we probably should have played Marcel. I think Traore created more than probably the other two wingers did when he came on in the space of the half an hour he was on there. So maybe there were a few team selection jigs that needed to change. But I don't know. It's a tough one. But then again, it's another not very good performance. And if you add up all our games so far this season, there have been far more games where we've not performed well than we have, which is still a worry for me.
Bayliss, you're not nodding your head there.
I agree with a lot of what Jack said. You know the old saying of you score 2, we'll score 3? Wolves' current tactic seriously is you score none, we'll score none. Which is really troubling. Because we have got some really great, I think Podence is a fantastic player. I think Neto's good. Jimenez is clearly world class, but it's just not working.
You just said 2 minutes ago we haven't got the players to do the attacking. Now you're praising them. You're not making any sense.
Not with our current format of how we're trying to play with this wing back idea and get round the back and play in corners into their final third on the right and left hand side.
So have we got the good enough players or haven't we to play well in attacking?
I want to see the same system with Marcel and Traore playing at wing backs.
It's a system, isn't it? I mean, because you can pinpoint. I know it's generic, but sort of like the England side of 2006 potentially.
You can't have a much worse defensively
midfielders that couldn't play together, and it's the system that was wrong for England in that golden generation, wasn't it? I mean, no one's doubting the talent in the side, are they, Dan? Really, but is it a system, Harry? Is it the looking at, or does it need time to bed in terms of possession? Trying to play that possession game, and it was pretty even possession wise. I think the actual stats are 50-50.
Yeah, it is. It's just the way we. I don't know if it's a system. It's just what they're being told to do. They're being told to sit back. He's not going to change it, is he? That's his system. Maybe he might try 2 up top, but we played well against Palace. But we just sat back. I don't know why. I don't agree with putting Traore right wing back. We know he can't play there, so that's just a stupid thing to say.
If he gives away 1 goal, he might create a couple though, and we haven't looked like scoring anything from there. He came on and actually created something the other day.
Yeah, but not a right wing back. Has he ever really created that much or been that great a threat in playing right wing back? He hasn't, because he's got to think about tracking back. But the reason this is all happening now and the defensive performances are so embedded in the team is that West Ham game. because they don't want to repeat of that, I think. And because they're so scared of shipping 4 again. But they've got a point, if you're in the game, you defend well, a 0-0 is still a point, isn't it? So that's what they want to build upon. But yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing, but I'm not going to completely overreact because there were signs there. And on the whole, we were probably unlucky. I mean, Neves' strike, he couldn't really do much more then. He couldn't not do much more then because he hit it well. It was pretty much in the top corner. And if Schmeichel wasn't on his A game, then he wouldn't have kept that out. So what can you do?
Can we just come back to the quality conversation quickly?
Yeah.
It'll probably be long league by the time we're finished. But... Right. The question isn't whether we have got quality. We've clearly got decent players. They've clearly all played at a decent level and we're good at what we do. But it's in the current system that's the issue. When you're coming up against other top teams, that's where I'm saying quality is lacking. It's the way we play our football, not just the players. And you've all got to, Harry, even you've got to say, the quality and the way we're passing the ball, moving down those wing side positions just is not as good as it was last year. Nowhere near.
Harry bringing in that?
I think we missed Johnny. I know you've got an agenda against Semedo, but I don't think Doherty was 10 times better. So I disagree there. I think Semedo's grown into it well. I know I keep saying it. We did show it against Palace. We showed it in other games. I do think we pass it around well when we want to. If we don't just sit back and try and hit teams on the counter, which we tried against Leicester, we couldn't even get one good counter attack together, especially in the first half. We can pass it around well. We just got to be a bit more brave, I think, and not sit back and be really negative. That's the way I would look at it. Take it to them.
How about this one then? What about giving Traore a complete free run? Stick him in front of the midfield and tell him you can go anywhere on the pitch you like, do whatever the hell you want, as long as you create something for me.
He'd be like Forrest Gump. He'll end up running to bloody Scotland.
I think a pundit actually said it. I can't remember which one it was, but someone said just give him a free rein, let him have a go.
No, because they've done so much work on getting him not to be selfish. Can you imagine them giving him that role? He'll just go back to square one, wouldn't it? Where he'd try and take on the Roman army rather than pass it to the man who's free.
Couldn't be any worse though.
I do think.
I think it could be worse. I think it could be worse. We lost 1-0 away at Leicester.
Weird, man. That's what's weird. Like you think back, right? Under Mick McCarthy, I didn't mind when we sat back and tried to survive away from home and get a point because we were shit. But now we've got players that are really good. So I do get annoyed. Yes, our results have been good. We're 9th in the league or whatever we are. But the performances are poor. We've got the quality and the players. We've been in the Premier League 2 seasons now. I just want to see us take it to teams now, man. I just don't want to see us sitting back, doing what we did when we first got promoted, and hitting teams on the counter and acting as the small team. We've got the players. We've brought in good players to take it to teams, even teams as good as Leicester away at their place.
Yeah, but let's look at Leicester. We played them and beat them in one of the most exciting games I think I've ever watched. 4-3 at Molyneux.
Leicester scored a hat-trick. We don't talk about
Jota,
it. Might have been. But still, that game was great. There was drama, goals, skill. That was a good game of football, even though we conceded 3. I can't see us scoring 4 anytime soon.
No way.
If we get drawn against Marine in the FA Cup, if they get that far, I can't see us scoring 4 against them.
We only put 2 past. What they called in the Europa League qualifiers, didn't we? The pub team.
Crusaders.
No, I think Adama does need to start next game. Just because Podence was quiet, I'd change it now.
I'd agree.
They've been good. Neto and Podence have been good, but give Adama a go from the off, I'd say, just to change it up a little bit.
Just one more thing on VAR. It's quite interesting when they went to the Stockley Park room where they were officiating that one, and the head of the VAR was there doing it, the sort of running motions, and they were obviously talking about it, and it just makes you think, Harry, doesn't it, that we're talking about clear and obvious again, and if they're having conversations in a VAR room, it's something that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, the way I looked at those images, it looked like the bloke who was the head of it, it looked like he was having a go at them, saying that's not a penalty, because I know everyone said it, but it's true. The referee ran over and saw a very slowed down version, and it was ball to hand. It definitely was. Obviously, no argument about the second one, but it's ball to hand for me. I saw it at the time. I thought, it has hit his arm. I saw the replay. I'm like, yeah, ball to hand. We're not getting, this won't be given. And because he watched it at 1 mile per hour, he gave it. And I think they said at half time, Micah, Richards and Carragher, they said, why is that being given? They need to be more clear on the rules, and VAR is a shambles.
It's a shambles, but it's not going to change anytime soon by the looks of things, which is just tragic, really.
Well, the thing is, it actually has changed in the last couple of weeks, because when we played Newcastle, it was a very similar situation. Ball gets rammed in. Yeah, ball gets rammed in from 10 yards away. Guy dives on the floor, arm in the air, hits it, no penalty. We then have a very similar thing happen at Leicester, where the ball's even closer and the guy's running and his arms out and it's given. So there's not even any continuity. It is nonsense. It is utter nonsense. Gary Lineker did a poll, didn't he, on his Twitter the other day, saying, would you rather change it or scrap it? And I think it was 70% wanted to scrap it.
And there was 250,000 people that voted on it as well. So it wasn't like a small...
Like our polls.
Was it?
Yeah. It's just because it's been such a joke, hasn't it? It's just been such a recurring joke. I mean, let's talk about... And our that penalty call was by nowhere near the worst VAR call of the weekend either. Patrick Bamford. What is that?
How your arm can be offside when you're pointing of where your ball wants.
I thought I'd seen the worst offside, and then that one topped them all, didn't it? That one topped every single one.
And the thing is, the angle they're looking at, they said it before, I'm just bored of repeating it. The angle they're looking at it, the way they're drawing lines from and the frame rate, they have no idea of knowing exactly the moment the ball's played. And then when you looked at it from the other angle, it looks like the other defender on the sort of right-hand side's leg was playing him on anyway, but that was blocked by the camera. So it's just, I'm sorry, that's not offside. And we all know what will happen. Yeah? If Patrick Bamford would have then gone on later in the game and scored one by hitting his bloody shoulder, they'd have ruled it out for handball.
That's the thing. So, and that's, do
you remember there were conversations when this came in saying it's all about clear and obvious. We're here to clean up mistakes and stop these mistakes.
Yeah,
nonsense. It's made it way worse. I'd rather a couple of howlers a season than this.
Yeah.
Thing is, it's that whole argument about bringing it in so nobody gets relegated or vice versa, but it literally saved Villa last season, realistically.
That's
Hawkeye, but it's
if the linesman hadn't given it, it wouldn't have been a goal either. So
I agree with what you said though, Jack. We can point to VAR all we like. At the end of the day, we wasn't good enough against Leicester, was we? So there's only so many times you can blame it. The second one was definitely a penalty. Obviously, thankfully, Rui saved it. And so we can't just blame it on VAR. Our performance overall wasn't good enough.
Good standout performance from Rui. It's his third penalty save against 10 in the Premier League. So, pretty much a 1 in 3 chance of saving it. Not too bad return. It is, of course, the international